The name Natadores is synonymous with success. The long line of great athletes speak for itself, and yes, the legacy continues. Today we feature two-time Olympic silver medalist diver head coach Michelle Mitchell. Coach Mitchell proudly presents an incredible diver in Olivia Rosendahl. This 10-meter specialist will blow you away with her incredible talent. Also on the deck, representing Natadores Swimming, is icon Coach Mark Schubert. His long line of accomplishments is what legends are made from. Coach Schubert introduces us to distance swimmer David Heron, an incredible talent that continues to get better. A great conversation ahead. This is Coach's Corner. I'm Paul Higgins, and all the action starts right now. Coach, it's been quite the journey for you.
It has.
But you have done an outstanding job of keeping this program going. Bumps in the road, I'm sure, but you got to be optimistic now, right?
You know, it's been quite the adventuresome year, this COVID year. We were one of the only pools open, thanks to the city of Mission Viejo and a whole bunch of protocols, in the entire state. And we started back June 15th, and we haven't stopped since. And our programming has exploded, and we're just now able to bring some meets back in with protocols all in place, but everybody's super excited about being able to compete again after, 18 months? It's been a long time.
So it's pretty true when they say kids are resilient, right?
You know, one of the greatest compliments that I've gotten as a coach, and I would imagine other coaches around here have heard it too, is that diving has been the only consistent thing in a child's life for the last year. School changed, they're on and off Zoom, teacher didn't show up, you know, something else is happening in their life, and workout was always at the same time every day with the same staff. So that was a great compliment, and I'm really happy that the city has enabled us to do this. And it's been a really great year.
Emotionally, how has it been for you? Because you're used to a routine, you've kept that routine. Has it been hard on you as it might have been some other coaches that are in other sports?
It really has. I mean, really what this year has been about is a lot of logistics, because our team exploded. We've got a lot of kids that came down here and are still here from Stanford. They've been here for a year. We have kids coming in from USC, from Rose Bowl, UCLA, up from San Diego. So what we really tried to be able to do is just offer an opportunity for anybody that could do it and wanted to do it. And I'll tell you, they are resilient, because all these kids now have kind of knit into one team, even though they represent maybe 4 or 5 other teams across the state. It's been really fun. And
you do have a busy pool. You've got the dive pool right behind you.
Right.
The swimming pool behind me where the kids are working out right now.
Yeah.
The status of your dive team, I'm going to meet an amazing diver in Olivia a little bit later on here.
You are.
But your thoughts about the status of your team right now?
You know, our team hasn't ever looked better, because honestly, the kids use diving as a way to escape all of the other insanity in their life. And the staff really, I have a great staff, and everybody really got in there and helped out. I mean, we are here in the aquatic facility 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. We don't finish out here till 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night, most nights. And so it's been great. We've got 3 women that have been with us all year that are kind of on a gap year in college. They're also qualified for Olympic trials. And so we're going to be leaving June 3rd to go to Olympic trials. One of them is competing for Puerto Rico. She's actually leaving for Tokyo here next week to try and get an Olympic spot. So we've got the top end, and then we've got the top juniors, and then we've got a whole bunch of other kids that are super excited to be out here to kind of move up the pyramid too.
You mentioned going places. Is there going to be a big dive meet here in the near future? I know scheduling and where we are, the status of what's going on. But do you foresee that, maybe a trials event, something like that happening here?
Not the Olympic trials, that's always indoors, and Olivia will tell you more about that here in a few minutes. But we have a lot of meets. To have a meet at all is like super exciting all of a sudden. And so we've got a regional meet that qualifies through to a zone meet, which qualifies the kids to the national championship. And we were fortunate that they kind of called us and said, hey, could you help? We can't find a pool, and we were really happy to do that. And then the AAU is coming in with their national championships. It's called the Red, White, and Blue Western National Championships. And that's the first time that meet has been on the West Coast in years and years, and I don't think it's ever been in Mission Viejo. So we've got some good meets coming up, kind of local, regional, kind of California and Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, that kind of thing. But I've gotten a lot of calls. People are excited to be coming to Mission Viejo.
Are you still, I mean, you are so blessed, and the Nadadors are blessed to have you. Do you still bring that same energy every day? How do you do that? Because it's a repetitive sport, right?
Yeah, totally repetitive, but this was my legacy job to come back as a Nadador. I was here in the 80s as a Nadador. I made the Olympic team as a Nadador. And when Brian Early, who was a former teammate and Nadador, called me and kind of said, hey, I had just retired. And I thought, wow, that would be a cool legacy job. The facility was being built, you know, so it was kind of a rebirth. And so I came here and I had no idea of like the connection with the city and how strong of a connection that is and what great friends I would meet here and make here. And Mission Viejo is my home now. I can't believe I'm going on 4 years.
Well,
that went fast.
I am certainly thrilled that you are here and that you did this show today and that you're going to give us Olivia here in a second. Good luck to you. Thank you for being one of the staples of our community, and it is important to the athletes, so thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Up next, with great pleasure, I talk with Olivia Rosendahl, a positive force and an amazing talent. Our conversation is next. It's the best summer broadcasting camp of its kind. The YTN 2021 Summer Broadcasting Camp is now accepting reservations. Don't wait and reserve your spot now. Email us your contact information to theytn.org/camp. Receive real broadcast experience that includes play-by-play, analyst, sideline reporter, studio host, and more.
The YTN broadcast camp was really fun. It was probably one of the funnest camps I've done all summer.
The YTN Broadcast Camp. Reserve your spot now. Olivia, it was driving me crazy a minute ago because I said, I know I've seen you somewhere, but then I realized, I turned to my son who's running camera and I said, she looks just like my niece. So you're a very beautiful girl. What a great attitude you have and a spark in life. Why diving for you? You could have done anything, right?
I usually tend to just keep towards individual sports when I was younger, and I actually did swimming for a while. Wasn't for me. I liked to swim vertically instead of horizontally. I like to sit on the bottom of the pool a lot, and at the end of practice they would let us go over at the Roseville Aquatic Center in LA and do a jump off the diving board just for fun. And I remember I did a flip or something one day, and the coach ran up to me and said, you have to be a diver. And so I started diving.
How old were you at that time?
I was about 5.
5?
Yeah.
So you've been in this a long time.
I'm in for the long haul, yeah.
Yeah, and you're so young, but you've done so many great things. We were kidding, I was kidding with Michelle, and she's like, Paul, I'm ready. And I said, well, I'm not ready, Michelle. We have to set the cameras up. We have to go through our little ritual, right? You're used to those rituals being up there. Tell me about the mental side of diving.
I think diving is majority mental, honestly, when it comes down to it, because you're not going to get up there and do it if you aren't mentally tough. And when you're going, you just have to know the cues that you do for each dive, know the fear. The fear inhabits you, and that's part of the diving, that's part of the sport too. And just knowing how you deal with that fear, and then going up there, remembering your cues, and then forget, and let your body remember.
So you're an amazing diver, and you mentioned how mentally the sport is, right? How mental it is. But you're off the 10 meters. You just mentioned that you specialize in that as we sat down. First of all, why?
Well,
why that high?
I've always been small, and when I was younger, I couldn't really keep up with the kids on the springboard because I didn't weigh very much, and to do well, you kind of need to feel the rhythm of the board, have a presence there, and it just wasn't really for me. And I had a really good entry, so when you hit the water and there's no splash, it's a rip, and I had a very good rip. So I just tended to stay on platform more, and when I was about 13 or 12 or 13, my coach and I were at a meet, and there were some little kids who are now very good in USA Diving as well, and they're on the top tier. They were doing 10 meter and they were 11 years old. And my coach turns to me and says, "You're doing 10 meter now." And then I started doing 10 meter.
That's amazing, and I know that that's a pretty brutal entry sometimes. It's a punishing sport. People don't realize hitting the water is pretty hard. Have you suffered injuries? I'm sure you have. And then how have you overcome that?
Smacks, when you land flat, we call it smack. And that's just part of the sport for me now. It's part of the fear, it's part of overcoming it. So when I get up there, I kind of say to myself, it's either gonna go well or you're gonna smack, and that's how it's gonna go. So that's how I get through that fear. I also broke my wrist, stress fracture, and then I had a surgery last year. And that's been very difficult to come back from this year. And that's been one of my major struggles this past year, just building back up to 10 meter and just working, chipping away little by little, PT, doing everything I can to increase reps, and Michelle's really helped me with that too. So,
what is your future lay ahead now? What is that going to be for you?
I'm not trying to look past this Olympic trials. So my future is ending in June right now, and then we'll progress after that. But I'm really hoping to move forward in the sport world. I want to give back to athletes. I want to encourage athletes, especially female athletes. I'm really passionate about getting the young women up in leadership positions, and so hopefully I can become a leader in another organization, even if it's not diving, and NGB or somewhere, and kind of just try to promote sport, because I think it has really powerful implications in the community and society.
I think you almost answered my next question, but let me try it anyway, okay? Why would you recommend to a little girl the sport of diving, in particular what you do? If I had a little girl, which I do, she's 18 now, but what would you say to her?
Sport and diving, diving opened the world to me. I am who I am because I was a diver. I have life skills, time management skills, people skills, just everything that makes me the bubbly, optimistic person I am comes from diving, comes from being around other kids, comes from watching other powerful women in the sport, especially people like Michelle. She's really been a mentor and a peer to me this year. So just every experience, it's hard, it's punishing like you said, but it just builds you into the best person you can be. I think it really draws out all the good aspects of your character and helps you mitigate the flaws.
Well, I don't think that you have too many flaws, and I tell you what, when we come back, and if there's a dive meet here, and I'm broadcasting it, would you be my analyst?
Absolutely.
How about that? Okay, you did a fantastic job. Good luck to you, and God bless you, and all the things that you're doing. You're going to be successful. You have a long line of successes ahead, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
From the dive complex to the swimming pool, he really needs no introduction. Coach Mark Schubert is a true swim coach legend. My conversation with Coach Mark Schubert is next. It's the best summer broadcasting camp of its kind. The YTN 2021 Summer Broadcasting Camp is now accepting reservations. Don't wait and reserve your spot now. Email us your contact information to theytn.org/camp. Receive real broadcast experience that includes play-by-play, analyst, sideline reporter, studio host, and more.
The YTN broadcast camp was really fun. It was probably one of the funnest camps I've done all summer.
The YTN Broadcast Camp. Reserve your spot now. Coach, it's so great to see you. And when I got the call from Robert at the City of Mission Viejo, he said, Paul, can you do a coach's corner? Because these coaches have done such a great job. And it's true. You've been open since last May. Congratulations.
Well, you know, we have to give a lot of credit to the City Council, and particularly Brian Goodell, who was the mayor, and also a double gold medalist for the Netadors. So he was very involved and helped us a lot.
I jokingly said that's a good time for him to be mayor.
Oh, terrific time.
Yeah, so somebody's up there looking down, right?
Absolutely. We were one of the first ones to open up, and now we've been open for a year, so we haven't lost much training time at all.
I'm going to say something kind of strange to you, and hopefully it maybe you get what I'm saying. When I first went to the Rose Bowl, I remember covering the Rose Bowl, being on the field, and just realizing all the amazing things that had happened at the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day, and then also what it's going to feel like when all the people get there. I kid you not, I grew up right around the corner here. I get that same feeling. I know there's a makeover here, but I get that same feeling when I walk onto this pool deck of all the amazing sporting events that have happened here. Do you get that feeling?
Oh yeah, it's a special place. You know, it's many people call it iconic. And 2 weeks ago we had the Tier Pro Series, and the best athletes, almost all of the finalists for the Olympic trials were here, and they all were thrilled to be here. Some of them hadn't been here in 3 or 4 years, and of course to walk in and see it like this, it was amazing.
So you still get that, you're still energized.
Oh yeah, you know, since the remodel, and this is the truth, when I walk in here in the morning, I think, you know, have I dined at God in heaven? Because this is what I want it to be like.
It's amazing. Your athletes must appreciate it as well. And I teach also, and whenever I have a swimmer or a diver, I always know they're going to be great kids because they're so disciplined. Do you find that to be true? I mean, these kids are just amazing athletes. Mentally and physically, they're so strong.
Well, my group that I coach directly is about 26, and some of them, like David Heron, are pro athletes and are post-grads. They've been to college. However, the high school kids, I went around one day, asked them what their GPA was. None of them were below 4.0. And that's the first time I've ever had a group that smart.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell me about your athletes now, the ones that you're coaching, and how proud you are of them. And obviously, what's the road ahead for them in their future?
Well, a lot of the high school kids obviously swim to go to college. And whether it be a college scholarship or just the privilege of getting admitted, it's big. And we have a lot of juniors this year, and the rules have changed so juniors can commit. So we're having a lot of fun with that right now.
The best type of athlete for your sport is who?
Well, there's different body types. You can't really say this is the ideal because there's so many different. If I had a choice, we have a girl named Mackie Hodges. She's 6'1". She's thin. She's talented. She has a great attitude, great work ethic. You know, that's kind of what I like. But then we've got short ones that just kill it. So, and Brian was short when he won the Olympics.
How do they make up that difference? I'm a small guy, and I love swimming, but I wouldn't be I couldn't compete the way these guys do. But if you're smaller, how do you make up the difference? Speed, obvious, I guess.
The one thing about being smaller is you don't displace as much water as somebody that's bigger. So they have to pull more weight through the water. Small guy doesn't have to pull as much weight through the water, so that's kind of an equalizing factor. And now, a lot of the sport is underwater, dolphin kicking. And if a small guy has a good dolphin kick, they can compete.
Coach, is that something that an athlete learns or inherently has as athletic skill, technique, or is that something that you're here for?
Well, I'd say both. I mean, some swimmers inherently have it, and they have what we call a feel for the water. But it's our job to teach technique and to help those that don't have it naturally improve.
Your day starts early. We talked about this before, but realistically, you're about 4:35 in the morning, is that right?
Well, we're here at 4:45, so I'm up at 4. And, they're just a dedicated group. They're here before school, and then they come right here from school and, spend 4 or 5 hours a day here. I get to see them more than their parents.
True, and I know the parents are pretty dedicated parents as well.
Really dedicated. They give up a lot for these kids.
You and I were talking before we started today about the Olympics, and can you share with me what you think might happen and hoping also might happen?
Well, obviously last year we were very worried about the future of the Olympics in Japan, and for a while the numbers didn't look good, but it's been improving. A lot of the population has been immunized. The Olympic Committee and everybody that has direct access and something to do with the Olympics is pretty positive it'll happen. The government has made some negative statements, but in my opinion, what do I know? I'm a PE major. It's politics.
Hopefully it will happen, and Coach, I'm sure that we'll have some great swimmers, hopefully representing the city of Mission Viejo and the Nadadores. Congratulations, and thank you for coming back. You've been back now 4 years, and they couldn't be happier or more blessed to have you, so thank you.
That's a thrill. Thank you.
Coach Schubert has coached a long line of excellent swimmers. On the pool deck next is another one of his fine athletes, long-distance swimmer David Heron. He joins me next. It's the best summer broadcasting camp of its kind. The YTN 2021 Summer Broadcasting Camp is now accepting reservations. Don't wait and reserve your spot now. Email us your contact information to theytn.org/camp. Receive real broadcast experience that includes play-by-play, analyst, sideline reporter, studio host, and more.
The YTN broadcast camp was really fun. It was probably one of the funnest camps I've done all summer.
The YTN Broadcast Camp. Reserve your spot now. David, I admire you because if I swim, a lap or two, I'm in good shape. But what's up with you? You swim forever. How did you decide that's what you want to do, swim long events?
Well, I started swimming when I was 7, and once I got into high school, that's where I realized, I'm a distance swimmer. I've always had endurance and other, on land sports. So once I realized I was good at distance swimming, I decided to try out open water swimming, and that's the 5 and 10K. And I don't know, I thought it was fun. Open water, it's not like the pool where you're just following a line. Every race is different, so that was exciting for me.
In open water, do you prefer ocean, lake? Ocean is obviously a lot different than the lake.
Yeah, so most races are in the lake, which could be nice sometimes because it's a bit easier. It's flat, but the ocean's more fun because sometimes there'll be a current, sometimes it's super choppy, wavy, and with that, you got to use a little bit more strategy throughout your races, so that's fun for me.
This is really amazing to me because you're a homegrown success story, as an athlete here, graduate of Mission Viejo High School, so you're a Diablo, and you said you've been coming here since you're 7 years old.
Yeah.
You've seen everything here. How amazing. You might have overheard me, but I get the tingles when I come here. It's amazing. What's happened here is pretty incredible.
Yeah, now I'm one of the oldest swimmers on the team, not including the masters, but yeah, it's cool. I really care about this team, and I do whatever I can to help the younger swimmers out, because that's what they did for me. So,
how many events do you think that you have competed in here? Can you even count?
I've tried them all. Since high school, I've kind of stuck more to freestyle and the longer events. So.
What type of athlete? You said you've always been, an endurance athlete no matter what you've done. Is that just a makeup? Is that your parents were the same way? Can you share that with me?
Yeah, they raised me outdoors. We're big outdoor people. We love to go camping and road trips, stuff like that. So I spent my childhood outside running around at the park, at the beach. I was always super active.
What makes a great athlete in your sport? I was talking to Coach about it. You guys are so dedicated. You wake up so early in the morning. You have long days. You guys get good grades in school. Is there a mold that you guys just go in before you get here, or what is it? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, everyone on this team, you got to be super hardworking and, like you said, dedicated. Because you wake up, you go to practice, and then you come home. If you have school, you go to school all day, and then right back to practice. It's tough, but you kind of fall into a routine. You get used to it.
Do you consider this your second phase of life? You had the first phase that you were a young boy competing. Now you're maybe in that second phase, and then what happens in the third phase?
So yeah, now I'm starting to focus a lot more on open water swimming. So when I was in school, I was doing both pool competitions and then also trying to get open water in off the side. Now I'm focusing a lot more on open water. And then moving on, next few years, like I want to try to make the Olympic team in 24, so I'm going to put most of my focus in open water, and then looking down in the future, I would also like to try triathlons out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you mentioned that you did the triathlon here in the city of Mission Viejo, and I'm sure you swam really well. You won your age group.
Yeah.
I remember that. It's so funny because I remember seeing you there in the Mission Viejo shirt, right?
Yeah.
And so your thoughts about triathlon, it's a great sport, and swimmers do well in it.
Yeah. It was exciting because I won the swim portion, so I was out first, and then just being able to do more than, just swimming, do 2 other sports basically. So.
Do you like the bike or the run?
I'm better at running. I grew up biking too, so I like that, but I definitely am stronger at running than biking. So that's something I'll start working on my free time.
So Coach is a great coach, and it's such a blessing to have him here coaching. He's been here 4 years again. He could have picked any athlete. Obviously, he picked you for a reason. Can you tell me your thoughts about Coach? Because what a dedicated person he is. What has he taught you about swimming, and maybe a little bit, has he taught you about life as well?
He's a very tough coach, and that's one of the reasons why I'm continue to be successful, is because every single day we're going at it. We're not taking easy days, so we gotta adapt and, really not just physically but mentally push ourselves to, go as hard as we can every single day.
It's obvious that you do that, and it's such a pleasure to talk to you and to see the success that you have had as a homegrown talent here in the city of Mission Viejo. It really exemplifies what this is all about. So thank you, congratulations, and good luck to you.
Thank you.